Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. Today we got another training session, and like I said last time, I still want to go over some more custom and lookalike audiences because that's one of the more advanced topics when it comes to Facebook ads. I know it can be kind of confusing, and there's just a lot to it. But today I think a good idea to go over is conversion ads because along with lookalike and custom audiences, conversion ads are a really powerful tool of Facebook. And I know I teach a lot about the PPE ads, and that's typically how I always launch a product to start with because one reason PPE does so well is because and just to make sure that everything's working, can you guys hear and see my screen? Can I get a one in the comments if I okay, perfect. Okay, cool. So yeah, so conversion ads they're it's a really powerful thing on Facebook. The thing with conversion ads though is it takes a little bit more of an investment on a conversion ad versus a PPE, a page post engagement ad. Post engagement ads usually you can get results a lot faster. When it comes to conversion ads, it takes a little bit longer. So I'm going to jump into that Google Doc that I started for the notes because I think that'll be good because there's some math that kind of comes into play with conversion ads, and we'll launch them. Really, launching a conversion ad is the same as a post engagement ad. Really, in all essence, is the same. But let me jump into what lesson are we on right now? I think we're on lesson 9. I want to say click funnels. Yep, lesson 9. Okay, cool. So okay, so when you do a conversion ad, I'm just trying to make this all even here. Conversion ads take a bit more of an investment. And I'll show you why. So when you're doing a conversion ad, there's a couple different types of conversions that you can optimize for. So in your pixel, let's jump into business settings. So we'll just use this pixel. Probably hasn't been active for a while. But there's a lot of different conversions that you can do for when you do a conversion ad, and you can make your own custom conversions. I've never needed to use my own custom conversion because there's really I've never seen a reason to. Maybe if you're doing like a mobile app or something, I personally can't see a reason to create your own custom conversions unless you're just trying to I couldn't I don't see a reason why. But anyway, so there's all sorts of different conversions. So when you set up your pixel, like let's say you were setting it up on Shopify, all you have to do is copy your pixel code, which is right here, and you just copy and paste that pixel code into Shopify and it gets set up. If you have like a different setup, um, like they have like integrations right here to set up, and if you have a like a ClickFunnels or a website that's not one of the integrations, you can install the code yourself, and you just go into the HTML and you copy this into the, I think it's the header tag. Yeah, you copy it into the header tag, and I'm not a website builder guy. I could do it if I needed to, but that's not my strength. So you have all these different conversions. You have purchase, generate a lead. If you just wanted to get like an email address, there's complete registration. So like, let's say you had a webinar and you wanted to install the complete registration on your like thank you page after somebody signs up for a webinar. There's add payment info, all these different things, add to wish list. If you had like a really strong Shopify store doing like 100K a month or $1 million a month, somebody might be adding to wish list if you have repeat customers. And then search. I've never, I haven't seen the value for that one. At least yeah, I just don't see the value in that one. But and then like view content is just like looking at your page. That's like the most basic one. So like view content is usually, I'm going to just talk about it in Shopify terms, because I know there's a lot of people doing Shopify. Now I know some of you guys are also doing like webinar stuff. And so like a lead is just an email, like that's what you're shooting for is an email address. And then if you had a webinar registration, you could do complete registration. But these are just names. Like there's no really value to any, like the names are just names. So you could put a generate lead pixel on a purchase for a purchase. You can, like if you have a webinar registration, you could put an add to cart there, and then a purchase could be the names are kind of irrelevant. That it's just if you have an integration tool, then it's automatically going to be assigned correctly. But if you're doing it manually yourself, it really doesn't matter what event you do. That it's all just it's just really a name in the end of it. But like you can do like if you have like a purchase, you can put your value. If you custom do it yourself, you can, let's say your purchase is $100. You can put $100 in there so that Facebook can track how much money you make from your specific ad instead of you having to do the math on the side. But so there's all these different events that you can track. So like when I do a Shopify store, I always start with a view content. So like, let's jump back in here to the notes. So typically for like the first 1 to 3 days, PPE ad is the best because you get results fast. Once you start learning how to analyze the data, you can really it just takes practice. Don't expect that right when you start that you're going to know what it is. You're just going to have to spend a little bit more when you start, and you might have to spend anywhere from 2 days to 3 days for a PPE ad. Now, if you're split testing a bunch of different ads inside an ad set, you want each of the ads to at least get some traffic. So, like, let's say I know one of my clients, she does like 15 ads in one ad set. So we're going to let that PPE ad run for a week, because running for a day or two, there's not enough data in there to make a decision. Each one's only going to get like $1 spent. So it's not ideal. You want at least like 500 impressions. So like 500 impressions is a good tool. 500 impressions. Time to decide. But I've waited for 1,000 before, but at least when you have 500 impressions, you get a relevancy score. Facebook will give you a relevancy score once you get to 500 impressions. So like for like drop shipping, like 1 to 3 days for PPE ad. Once you get some impressions, is a good time to decide if you want to do a conversion ad or not. Now, if you're getting some link clicks on your PPE ad, it may be good idea to scale it to a conversion ad if you're getting link clicks. PPE ads are not made to get link clicks. That's not what they're made to do. So if you're getting link clicks from a PPE, that means it's doing really well. That it's optimizing correctly. And so that's a good ad because people like your product so much that they just have to click that link button, even though Facebook is really just trying to get you likes, shares, and comments at that point. That's the goal of that campaign. Likes, shares, comments, and views if you're doing a video. So if you're getting link clicks on it from a PPE ad, then a conversion ad is going to do even better because it's made to get link clicks, add to carts, and purchases. I'm going to just use link clicks, add to carts, and purchases for this example. So Shopify drop shipping example. So we're going to copy that. So you run a PPE ad for like 1 to 3 days. You'll probably need at least 2 or 3 days in the beginning just to make a good decision because you're going to have more data. And it's always a good idea. The more data you have, that's what you're doing on Facebook is you're buying data. So the more data you have, the better decisions you can make. It's just like if you go to college and you go to one credit in a class, in a psychology class, Psychology 101, you're going to learn a little bit about psychology. But if you get more data, and you go to Psychology 102, 103, 201, 202, you're gonna have more knowledge about psychology. You have more data at that point. You've spent more time, and so once you have more data, then you can make a decision. So if you want to scale, I suggest doing a view content in the beginning. So scale to a view content ad. Make sure you duplicate from ad set level. Now, what I mean by this, Facebook optimizes on the ad set level. That's where like you have your pixel that helps with about 30% of optimization, but on the ad set, like a campaign, you can have multiple products in a campaign, you can have multiple ads inside an ad set. But when your ad set is what determines the majority of your optimization. So when you have a good ad set, you never ever want to change anything about the ad set at all. Never change anything about the ad set unless you're going to scale it by 20%. If you scale your budget by 20%, that is the only thing you can change without affecting the optimization. So let's say this ad's running right now. This ad right here. Let's get down so we only have like one ad going. Okay, so we have this ad set right here, and it doesn't even have any data because this is an old account. So let's say we want to scale this PPE ad. What we're gonna do is so back to the optimization. So if you do it right here, that's all you have to do is when you want to adjust the budget, just click this little pencil right here and adjust it by 20%. 20% of $5 is $6. 20%, and then leave it running for another 48 hours. Do not adjust the budget from $5 to $25. It's not. It's gonna screw everything up. It just that's how it works. If you're going to change an ad set, this is an ad set. If you're going to change an ad set, you only scale by 20%. Another 20% is like 720, and then I think it goes to like 864. I used to have all these memorized, and then it's like 9. I don't even know how. I'd have to do. I just go to the calculator and then multiply that number by 20%. But let's say so you have the $5 ad. So if you edit here, let's say this has been running for a few days, and you go in here and you're changing stuff around, you change the targeting around, you might as well just start a new ad over. If you want to change anything in here, just duplicate this ad. Now, when you duplicate from here, you can duplicate you check this box, you can even duplicate right here. So you can duplicate to the original campaign, the existing campaign, or a new campaign. So when you're scaling from a PPE and you want to scale to a view content ad, make sure you duplicate from the ad set level. So how you do that, you go in here and you can't do it on the original campaign because this campaign is a post engagement campaign. Campaign, you have to choose a different objective. So we're going to choose a new campaign. We're going to go to objective and we're going to go to conversions right there. Then we're going to type in conversion. Okay. We're going to just name it the same thing because it's the exact same ad. It's just a new exact same ad set. We're duplicating the ad set, and it also duplicates any ads that are attached to this ad set. And then we're going to just make one copy. We're going to duplicate it. Now, what's cool about doing that is, let's say you just wanted so there you can do it that way, or what I did a lot of times in the beginning, and I realized this is the wrong way to do it, is I'd create a new campaign, and I'd just make a new campaign called OK. Conversion OK. And then I would make a conversion ad, and then I would just this is the wrong way to do it, guys. If you're doing it this way, you're losing some sales doing it this way. Because when you do it this way, you're not transferring the data over. Facebook's all about the ad set level. They optimize at the ad set level. So when you duplicate at the ad set level, so let's get back to that campaign. So let's say this had been running for 2 or 3 days, this PPE ad, and we duplicated it like how we did. It takes some of the data from that ad set and it transfers it over to the new one. Whenever you have a good performing ad, duplicate it from the ad set level, because you can scale it by 20%. But let's say you wanted to scale from $5 to $25. Well, then what you do is you duplicate it. Oops, I did original campaign. That's incorrect. Then what you can do is when you duplicate this ad, some of the data transfers over on the back end. You're not going to see it on the columns, but in some of the optimization code, it's transferring some of that data. Then you can duplicate it and you can turn this into a $25 ad. But okay, so I get ahead of myself. Okay, so let's say let's get back to where we were. So we got this ad, and I'm just going to delete these 3. Okay. Okay, so what we did is we duplicated this PPE to a conversion ad. This is a conversion. Even though it says PPE, it's duplicated, so it just has the same ad set name. And it does that again. I try to keep it limited for how many ad sets I'm looking for at once, especially in the beginning. If you have like 15 ad sets or 15 ads, look at one at a time, because a lot of times all these numbers will throw you off. So we have this. Then we're going to edit it. Maybe. Facebook loves being slow. Okay. So now we're going to rename this ad set because it's a conversion ad now, and we want to be able to differentiate the difference. So now it's a conversion ad. And we're going to initially, in the beginning, scale it to view content. You want to scale it to whatever your first goal is, or first task. And so if you were trying to get a lead or a webinar registration, it'd be webinar registration. But the first thing is traffic. And what a view content is on Shopify is it's traffic. It's a link click. That's what view content is. They're viewing your content. So anytime they view any of your content on your Shopify store or on your page, they're viewing that content. And so essentially it's a link click. However, sometimes if they click the link and then they go to multiple pages, it'll count for multiple view contents, but that's fine. Then you select a conversion event. So we're going to select a view content conversion. You have to select what it's optimizing for. So when you optimize, when you're doing a conversion ad, you must get 15 to 25 conversions per week in order for Facebook to actually learn. Conversions are learning. So it's taking the 15 to 25 conversions it gets per week, and it's learning how to get more of those conversions. With all of Facebook's artificial intelligence, all the data that they collect, they're learning who those people are that are viewing your content, and then it's learning on who else out of that, because you probably have a 2 million size audience. You're probably not going to show your ad to all 2 million people in a day. So Facebook is picking out of those 2 million people who to show your ad to, who's the most valuable in order to view your content in this scenario. So you must, I'm going to put must in capital, you must get 15 to 25 conversions per week in order for Facebook to actually learn. If you're not getting 15 to 25 conversions, there's no point. It's completely irrelevant. Now, when you're doing a view content, hopefully your view contents are only 50 cents. So let's say one view content costs 50 cents. Well, then to get 25 conversions per week, that's going to cost you $12.50 of budget per week. Well, divided by 7, that's only $2 a day. So if you do a $5 a day ad, $5 a day view content ad, you're going to optimize in a day or two, ideally. And so you're definitely going to get those 25 conversions per week. Now, for any conversion ad, always let it run for 3 days minimum. Facebook is learning when it comes to conversion. So if you shut down your ad and you only have 5 link clicks at that point, some days I've seen conversion ads where they don't get anything the first day, or they might only get 1 the first day, maybe 3 the second day, and then on the third day they get 15. When I talk about how Facebook learns from conversions, it learns at an exponential rate. So once it gets those first 15 to 25, it gets so much smarter. It's crazy. But in order for it to get smaller, you have to spend that money, and it may look like it's completely screwing up for the first 2 days. The first 2 days you launch that ad, you're like, wow, that ad sucks. That ad is completely failing. I'm wasting money. But then on the third day, it just goes crazy, and you make and it does exactly what it was meant to do. That's why I suggest doing page post engagement ads first, because you can get the data in a day or two. Versus a conversion ad, you're probably going to have to let it run for 3 days, which at $5 a day is $15, which is more than a PPE ad, which you can get away with $6 to maybe like $10. So like when I'm testing 10 products on a Shopify store, I'd rather do 10 $3 a day budgets for $30 for 2 days, which is $60, versus doing all conversion ads and having to spend $15 times 10 ads, which is $150. So I'd rather spend $60 in order to test versus $150, and then whichever 3 out of the 10 do well, then I turn those into conversion ads. Okay, so view content, you can see a view content will optimize very quick. All you need is a $12.50 per budget per week, which is like $2 a day, less than $2 a day. Now, when you do a view content ad, you're hoping to get some add to carts out of it. And check out the video about the columns and how to set up your columns correctly in order to see if you're getting view contents or add to carts, because Facebook will not show that in their pre-made columns in Power Editor or Ads Manager. So let's say, example, 3 days at $5 per day on a conversion view content ad. You get we're just gonna make it easy. Oh well, yeah, we're just gonna make it easy. We're gonna say 100 view contents. So let's say you get 100 view contents. Well, you're hoping that maybe 5 to 10 add to carts will also happen. Now, how you know a view content ad is working is it's optimizing, but hopefully when people view the content on your Shopify page on your product, that they like that product enough to at least add it to cart. If you don't get any purchases, it's okay. You chances are you're probably not going to get a purchase out of a view content. I have gotten purchases out of them before, but if you don't, it doesn't mean that your ad's not working. It's just it's more than 50% of the time you're not going to get purchases out of a view content ad. But it only costs $12.50 in order to get your data if you want 25 conversions per week. Now, ideally, you want 50 to 100 conversions per week. Because if it gets smart at 15 to 25, then you want to get 15 to 25 your first day so that you can get 50 to 100 really smart. So at $5 a day, if you're getting 50 cents a conversion, 50 cents a view content at $5 a day, 50 cents per view content, that would be $35 per week. I know this is getting technical, guys. I hope this is making sense. Please post any questions you have and let me know. But if you can understand this, it's extremely powerful. This is why Facebook's so powerful, but you have to understand this in order to be able to know what to do with conversion ads. So at $5 a day, 50 cents per view content, you're at $35 a budget a week in a 7-day period. So that's going to equal 70 view contents. Well, your first 15 are going to be maybe expensive, but then by the time you get to 25, the price is going to start going down drastically. So what that means is that within 2 to 3 days, you're going to be fully optimized. Now, if you're able to get some add to carts out of this, then what you want to do after you do a view content, you want to go to your next step. Now, I'm just using view content, add to cart, and purchase, but it could be anything. It could be webinar registration, it could be lead, webinar registration, and then purchase, whatever it is. But for this example, I'm doing this. So then what you would do is if your view content, if you like the stats that you get from your view content, then you're going to create a add to cart ad. Now it's going to get even more expensive because let's say statistically, if you're at 50 cents per view content, out of 100 view contents, even if your store's really good, you might be able to get 25 add to carts, and that's really, really, really good. Average is about 12%. So that'd be 12 add to carts, but we're just going to use 25 to keep it simple. So so now you want to optimize. Now you want to optimize for add to carts. Because chances are if they add to cart, you have a better chance of them purchasing than if they just look at the page, because it's like window shoppers. Like view contents are window shoppers. So if you don't make any purchases, you're fine, because those people might just be looky-loos. They might be clicking links, but they might not. They might just not be buyers. So now you want to optimize for add to carts. Well, let's say an add to cart. If a view content, so let's say an add to cart, like most of the time I'm paying anywhere from, ideally I want to pay like 25 cents per an add to cart or 50 cents for an add to cart, ideally under $1, because you get an email. When somebody adds to cart, typically you get an email from them. And so that means that if you can buy an email for under $1, that you'll generate the ROI within the first month. because each email subscriber is worth $1 per month if you email them correctly. Now, even if you pay $3 or $5 for an add to cart, over the next 12 months, you're still going to be able to get an ROI out of that customer, as long as you're building a business and you plan to continue this and you're actually serious about it. All right, so now you want to optimize for add to carts. So when you optimize for an add to cart, let's say, for example, an add to cart may cost you, we're just going to call it $1 to keep it simple. We're just going to call it $1 to keep it simple. So, no, I'm sorry. So let's keep this example going. So you got 50 cents per view content. Now we're going to say 1 in 10 people that view content add to cart. And these are just numbers I'm throwing out. I'm kind of highballing here. Ideally, you don't want to pay 50 cents for view content. You want it to be like 5 cents to 10 cents, maybe 25 cents. We're going to say 1 out of 10 people that view our content equal an add to cart. So that would mean 1 add to cart equals $5, right? So if 1 add to cart equals $5, and what do we got to do? Remember, we need to get 15 to 25 conversions per week in order to Facebook to learn. But ideally, we want to get 50 to 100. So I'm going to use 50 because I don't like to use the 25, because at that point you're not getting the most out of Facebook. If you're only getting 25 conversions per week, you're wasting your money, because Facebook, ideally you want to get 25 per day, because then you're taking full advantage of Facebook's artificial intelligence, their AI learning capability. So we're going to use, because we want to get 50 conversions per week minimum. Ideally, like I said, 25 per day. The more the better. If you can get 100 per day, that's great. But the more the better. That's why when you start getting going, you might have ad sets that do $100 per day, and you're going to see why. All right, so add to cart costs $5. So in order to get 50 add to carts per week, we're going to need to spend $250 per week in order to get an add to cart. Now, if you just for $250 per week, if we do per day, that's going to be like $37 or something. Calculator. 250 divided by 7. $35. We're just going to use $35. That's easy. So we're going to have to spend $35 per day. And ideally, your add to carts, like I said, aren't going to be $5. So maybe it's only, usually my add to cart budget's like $7 to $15 when I do an add to cart. But if you're only spending $5 a day on an add to cart ad, you're not taking full advantage of Facebook, and so it's almost pointless. It really just is pointless. So we're gonna have to do $35 a day on an add to cart in order for it to be worthwhile. Now, out of an add to cart, hopefully, ideally, we are going to get some purchases out of the add to carts. And like I said, these are more expensive to test. And so that's why I always suggest doing PPE ads to get your feet wet, and you can still make purchases with PPE ads. I've had so many situations where I never even do a conversion ad because I get so many shares on my post that the PPE ad is probably actually cheaper because I'm getting organic traffic. It's like it's like this ad right here. If you can do something like this, why even bother with a conversion ad when you can get when you can pay $16 for 1 million views or a million people to reach? I don't know why this always takes so long to load. I was doing it earlier too in the promo. Anyways, we'll come back to it. Anyway, so ideally you want to get some purchases out of add to carts. You want ideally you'd be at 25%, but if you're not at 25%, you're okay. That's just industry average because you're not optimizing for purchases. You're optimizing for add to carts. So I hopefully you're going to get some purchases out of it because it's cool enough product that you just get purchases. But if you don't get the 25%, let's say you're only at 10%, it's fine. It's fine. But what you're looking for is that that you can do this ad. Now what you want is now you want to do a purchase ad. So and this would be far too much because on a drop shipping product, if you're paying $5 for a drop shipping product add to cart, your profit's only like $15, so you're probably losing money at this point. So I'm just using this example because that's just I guess what I used. But ideally, like I said, 10 cents, $1. Those are the things that I shoot for. Hopefully better, but 10 cents for a view content, $1 for an add to cart, and then $5 for a purchase. But we're just going to continue with this. Hopefully, we're talking about like $100 product here. Okay, so now we want to optimize for a purchase ad. So in order to optimize for a purchase ad, we need at least 25 per week, ideally 50 plus. And that's the thing is until you get 25 of those add to carts or view contents or purchases, you don't know if your ad's working or not. So that's why this takes a bigger investment. And I don't suggest doing this until you either make money or that you at least get some traffic from page post engagement. You should be able to make sales from a PPE ad. And so that's what I always like to teach because I made money with PPE ads before I did conversion ads, and they're very confusing. So hopefully you understand. So I'll answer some questions here soon before I jump back into the Power Editor because I'm going to show you how to do this. So in order to optimize for purchase, we need 25 per week, ideally 50. So let's say we want to get 50 purchases a week. We want 50 buys per week. Each buy takes, let's say we're purchasing, let's say a purchase costs us $10 for a purchase. So that would equal 500 per week. Now that would be about $70 a day. Really 71, like 71.4, I think. Yeah, 71.4. So so you want okay, so you're gonna need to spend 70, we'll just say $70 per day in order to optimize. Well, if you're gonna want 25, it might take 3 to 4 days. And so that's why I don't suggest doing these until you understand kind of what you're doing and do some PPE ads first. And then because maybe your PPE ads aren't even working yet. It took me like 49 tries to get a PPE ad to actually work. So if you're struggling, I understand. Hopefully it won't take you 49 tries. But it took me 49 tries, and my 50th try, I finally got a PPE ad to work. And then I scaled it, and that's the one that you guys that I show in all the examples that made me the 22K on the Shopify store. That was my first good performing ad. But ideally, you want the PPE ad to work in order to do this. But that's why so that's how you do conversion ads, and that's how you kind of do the math for it. Because and then ideally after you get to like 25, this price hopefully goes down to maybe $5 to $7 because a purchase conversion ad is going to be cheaper than your add to cart ad as far as purchases go because it's actually optimizing for purchases versus optimizing for add to carts. So I want to answer any questions. I know this. If you don't understand this all right now, go launch some ads and make some mistakes first. And then you'll understand it once you start getting some data. Wall says, love this geek analytical stuff, Andrew. It's what I signed up to learn from you. Yeah, so this is why I love math. I'm a math guy. And so I remember I watched a video about like some Facebook programmers that I don't remember where I found the video, but it was like YouTube or Facebook, or probably Facebook, actually, not YouTube. But it was like a group of like 4 Facebook programmers that were talking about how the optimization works. And once I watched those videos, shortly after that is when I had my success, because I understood how the conversion ads worked. And so it's a very advanced topic. But this is it, guys. This is what's going to make you a lot of money on Facebook. And so if you're making money with PPE ads, just wait until you do conversion ads. It's if you're doing a webinar registration, imagine if you're paying $1 for a webinar registration right now. Imagine if we could optimize for a webinar registration and pay 25 cents per webinar registration. It's nuts. And so this is where it really gets crazy, and really the money starts coming in. But it takes a larger investment. And so I like to do the PPE ads and the video view ads first, because it's faster. It just is. It's faster. They learn. Now I can launch a PPE ad and cut it after like 24 to 36 hours. Once I get those like 500 impressions. As long as I have 500 impressions, I'm making a decision. But until you can get that, and when I first started, it was the hardest thing ever. But I would make myself run my ads for 3 days. In the beginning, I was like, okay, everyone's talking about this 3-day thing. I think it's stupid, but I'm just gonna do it anyways. And I did it, and it made more sense. I started having more data to work with, because after a day, you might not have any link clicks on your PPE ad, but you might have all this other stuff, and you don't know how to determine the data. Now I kind of just run on instinct now, because I look at data so much. I do this all day, so this is all I do is just look at ads. But it just kind of runs on instinct now. I don't even know sometimes what I'm doing half the time. I just do it. But okay, so we just converted this page post engagement ad. We duplicated it to a conversion ad. Now what I'm going to do is, since we're doing a view content ad, I am going to do view content, just so I know it's a view content ad. And then the only thing you have to change, I wouldn't change anything at all except the optimization for ad delivery. When you duplicate it, don't change it after you've launched it, but you do conversions. Now the conversion window, I've talked to some high level people, and I don't really have an answer for this. They didn't have an answer either. It's hard to, so I've tried them both, and I've had such mixed results that I don't really know what was working, to be honest, because I would do 1 day and it would work, and I'd do 7 day and it would work, or I'd do 1 day and it wouldn't work. And so there was no real clear result that I saw in split testing this. This was not I'd probably have to split test it with a few $100s or something. I haven't seen it make a difference. Maybe it's just one of those settings that Facebook has that just doesn't really matter, and they just put it in there because they're programmers that have never advertised before think it works. Because you got to pick and choose what you like. When I watched that video about the Facebook programmers, they said some stuff that I knew they were wrong about, but they probably never advertised for anything a day in their life. They probably never sold a single product in day in their life. They know how to code, but they don't know how to sell. So some of what they told me to boost a post. Well, let me tell you, don't boost a post. Okay, so And yeah, they said some other stuff too. But okay. Anyways, uh, I took what I needed from what they taught. So you could do 1 day click or 7 day click. All that really means is like when they do a 7 day click, that means that like let's say they add to cart. Like let's say we're on Amazon or something, and like right now, I have 2 items in my cart. I don't even know what's in here. But let's say I added those carts, like added those items to carts 2 days ago. And now I'm on Amazon again. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I need to buy those now. Yeah, so maybe I need to buy these now. Well, if I go proceed to checkout and I buy this item, even though they've been in my add to cart for 3 days, it's gonna count as a it's going to count still as a conversion because it gives 7 days of time in order to get that conversion. And so, like, let's say you send out an abandoned cart email and they come back to your store after that abandoned cart email, it's still going to, Facebook's going to see it like they got you that sale, not your abandoned cart email. Um, and so, and so when I yeah so when I read that I was like, okay, so let's just do 1 day 1 day clicks, 1 day clicks, 1 day views. And I tried it, and I didn't really see a difference. There was really no difference in that. So you know what, I just thought of something. I want to talk about this automatic and manual bid. um so I didn't include that in like the things that you're like in the promo webinar, like what to what I was going to teach, because this is really advanced, and I'm still testing out strategies with this every single day. There's no I'm always testing stuff out. There's really no That's why I like this, that this is a live training, because um the stuff I'm doing today is probably not going to work in 90 days to next year. If you're doing this exact same strategy that I'm teaching you today, it may not work. A lot of the stuff's going to, like the 15 to 25 optimization works, but like how I do the videos and just different things, the market changes constantly, and maybe they'll add new options in here. So you got to constantly test stuff, even test the stuff I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm always testing. I'm always second guessing myself purposely. I always kind of stay paranoid. Like, what if I'm wrong? So I always test new things, because maybe Facebook just did an update and made something more powerful than it was last time I tried it. And maybe now doing a 10 million audience is better than a 1 million audience. I don't know. You got to test it. But I always teach you the stuff that I'm using right now. So it is the stuff I'm teaching you is working for me right now. But if you're watching this in 2019, uh, try some new stuff out. I don't know. But anyways, so can I do I have enough time for this right now? So maybe I do. Okay, so when it comes to bid amount, so yeah, so this is really some advanced stuff right here. So um unless you've spent like $10,000 on Facebook or a few $1,000s on Facebook, just do automatic bid. The first time I tried a manual bidding strategy, I was doing a $400 a day ad set, and I did like 4 of them. And in order to learn this strategy, uh, it cost me about $2,000 in testing. Ideally, it should only cost you about $1,000 to learn this strategy. But if you're not making $10,000 a month on the online, don't even bother with this. Um, yeah, just don't even worry about manual bidding unless you're making $10,000 a month already, because uh, you're going to lose. I how like just like a PPE ad. You launch a $5 a day PPE ad, not all of them are going to work. You're going to lose. You might lose 5 or 10 bucks. Well, when you do a manual bidding strategy, you might lose a few $100s or a few $1,000s. So I don't suggest doing this if you're faint of heart. And this is not the type of ad that you would do and then go to sleep on, or walk away from your computer for 3 days while you let it optimize. So I think I can cover a little bit about this right now. So like $500 a week. So let's say, so like I said, you need 15 to 25 conversions per week in order for it to fully optimize. Ideally, you want 50 to 100. But in order to get to that 50 or 100, like I said, you're still going to need 2 or 3 days before it fully optimizes. That's just how long it's going to take. Well, what if you want that to fully optimize in a day? Well, you can do that. So what you would do, so if you want to do a manual bidding strategy, and let's say you want it to optimize in a day, well, then you're going to need 25 conversions in one day. So let's say you're getting you're paying $10 for a purchase. Well, in order to get 25 conversions in a day, you're going to need $250 a day. And this is where once you learn this strategy, this is how you get from 10K to 100K a month. But don't even bother with this until you're at $10,000 a month, because you are going to lose some money unless you get really lucky. And but it's how you get to the next step. Just like you don't do conversions until you get down the PPE. It's all stepping stones. You don't learn how to run until you can walk. So, but this is where it can get really powerful, because when Facebook sees that you're spending $250 a day, they're gonna give you better results. They just are. Just like I've noticed with some of my clients, they don't have all the options that I have in my Facebook Business Manager, and it's because you might have not spent any money on Facebook. Um, like one time I got my ad account shut down, but because of how much money I spent with Facebook, I was like, "Hey guys, I've spent a lot of money with you. You better turn my ad account back on." And they turned my ad account back on. If I had only spent $1,000 with them or $10,000, they probably wouldn't have turned my ad account back on. They're just like, "You're just another small. You're just a guy. We get millions of dollars per day, so why are you special?" It's even though I like $10,000 is a lot of money to me, it still is, and so but to Facebook, $10,000 they don't care about. They just don't. And so, but if you're spending $250 a day on one ad set, they're like, okay, let's give this guy a little bit better. Let's give this person more precedence. So let's say you want to do a manual bid and you want to get 25 conversions in one day because you don't want to wait around for 3 days. And maybe you want to get 25 purchases a day, because then that's what is that per week? 25 times 7. So maybe you can get 175. Ideally, if you can get 25 in your first day, then this should be like 250. So let's say you're making $20 per product. That's 5K a week just off one ad set. One ad set makes you $5,000 a week. And Facebook is exponential. So when you go from a view content to an add to cart, you get better. When you go from an add to cart to purchase, you get way better. When you go from a 15 purchases to 50 purchases per week, you get better. When you go from 50 purchases a week to 250 purchases a week, you get a lot better. Okay, so let's jump back into here. So manual bidding. Let's say you want 20. Let's say you want 25 conversions in a day. That's going to cost you $250 your first day. Well, if you're paying $10 per purchase, this is how you do the manual bidding strategy. This is really advanced. Okay, so to get 25 conversions in one day, what you want to do, and I know this sounds backwards. A lot of the stuff I say sounds backwards, and it was backwards when I heard about it, and that's why it costs money to learn this stuff. So um, whatever, so ideally you have a $35 a day ad making money. Well, let's say your $35 a day ad is getting $10 per purchase. Then what you want to do is on your manual bid, you want to bid at $20 per day, because you're going to get those whales. All the other people on Facebook that are paying that only want to pay $10 a purchase, you might say, hey, I want to buy $20 a purchase, and you're going to get those whales on Facebook, because Facebook doesn't know every person that's gonna buy. But let's say they're going to give you those people that purchase more, that have. Facebook's an auction system, so there's some people that buy stuff all the time on Facebook, and Facebook, those people cost more to show your ad to, because everyone wants to show their ad to those people. It's an auction, and so their news feed is more expensive. My news feed, I guarantee right now, my news feed costs a lot of money to be on, because the people that advertise on my news feed, I know it's Grant Cardone. He can pay like $100 a purchase, because he has so many products that his lifelong customers probably worth $10,000. I know I've spent probably $5K with him already in the last like 2 years. So he can pay more per customer because he has a bigger business. Some new guy can't pay that much, and so my news feed costs more to, like, I'm not going to see it. I don't ever see dropship. I don't never see keychains on my news feed. I just don't. I only see $5,000 products or more. I don't necessarily always buy those $5,000 products, but that's what I see on my news feed, because they know that's the type of person I am, I guess. Okay, so anyways, on a manual bid, you want to bid at $20 a day, so that you can get those whales. Now, and you want Facebook to spend that money. Now, you don't want to spend $20 per purchase, because you're probably not going to be profitable. But what you do is you spend $20 per purchase. Then about halfway through the day, after you've spent some money, because you want it to spend that money. If you only do $10 per purchase and you do a $250 a day bid budget, you might not even spend all your money. Facebook might only spend $100 of your money, because it can't find people it can't find people for this cheap. But if you tell it to spend $20 a day, it will actually spend your money, and that's what you want it to do, is spend your money so that it can learn. And then halfway through the day, scale back to maybe $15. And then that way it can be more selective later on in the day when there's more people on Facebook. And then also, so once you get those, you spend a lot, and this is a high level overview of it. Spend a lot in the beginning, so you can get the 25 conversions as fast as possible, and to spend the money for Facebook to learn. Once you get the 25 conversions, start scaling the bid back. In the end, you may only have to pay $5 per conversion. That's how powerful this strategy is, and I'm not. I could talk about that for a whole session, but I think I pretty much covered it. I didn't think I was going to be able to, but I think I covered it in the time that we had. So so yeah, I just wanted to explain that part right there. But I would just do automatic bid to start with. Manual bid's going to cost you a lot more, and then there's average and maximum. I would choose average, and then once you optimize it, then do maximum later. But average or maximum. I don't know why the reach is changing, but okay. So, but we're just doing automatic bid. So that's a conversion ad, and then so once you get done with the view content, you let it run. Hopefully you get some add to carts. Then you would duplicate this to original campaign, because it's a conversion ad, and then you would change this to add to cart, or whatever it is that you want to optimize for. Then you want to edit this so that it says add to cart. And then you would duplicate this to a purchase. And then I just label it buy because purchase is too big, too long, because I like to be able to read it without having to extend this all the way. so, so I think that's the lesson for today. We actually ended. That was extremely perfect timing. I thought this was going to go over, but that's pretty much. Let me look into my Google Slides. Like I said, this is going to be a complete course. So I want to teach everything. And I wasn't planning on going over the automatic or manual bid, but like I said in some of the promos, I'm going to get ideas that just come to me, and I'm going to like I threw this webinar together pretty fast when I very first put it together the first day. I've added more to it, but I want to make sure that this is a complete Facebook course that teaches everything. And so I want to make sure everything gets covered. Um, so maybe next week I'll go over some SEO optimization. I know it doesn't have to do with Facebook ads, but I did talk about that. Same with conversion rates. Yeah, so that'll probably be the next episode, something in there, because I want to make sure I cover everything. Um, So we went over these two in the beginning. And actually, yeah, I'm going to do another one with Facebook pages now that we're a little bit more into it. And I'll show you some more advanced strategies with the Facebook pages. Because I think all I showed was the cover photo, the profile picture, and the shop now button. But there's a lot of other stuff that you can do to your Facebook page. I just like keeping things simple. So I've made so many Facebook pages. Whenever I make a Facebook page, that's all I do is I do those three things. Now, if that Facebook page gets 1,000 likes, then I'm going to start to add some more stuff to it. But I have Facebook pages that never did well, so I don't want to spend 10 hours on a Facebook page and then have it flop. So I always like micro testing stuff because there's no point in taking 20 hours to set up your Shopify store and then having to redo it all later. I know people that have spent 3 months setting up their Shopify store and still haven't launched an ad to it. It's backwards in my head. I set up my very first store. It looked ghetto. It looked stupid. I set it up in an hour and a half, launched my first ad, and I was off to the races. I improved it since then, but you can really throw it together pretty quick. And until you're getting conversions, it really doesn't matter. So we set up the business manager. I think I covered most of the campaign objectives now with the conversion ads. I really don't use anything else. I might go over like a what do you call it? A page like one. Um, I've known people that use it. I personally never use it. Like I've used it a few times, but who like in my opinion, I don't care how many people like my page. I just want sales. So I can get page likes from post engagement. I like it. It that doesn't matter to me. Page likes, if I get them, yeah, that's cool because it helps me later. But I don't want to pay for page likes. If I get them organically, so be it. But so I'm probably not going to cover that because I don't suggest you do that. So I don't want to tell you to do something that I don't suggest doing. I don't do that. So I wouldn't suggest doing it. Yeah, we did a lot of split tests. We did some duplication today. Um, So I didn't talk about it here, but I'm going to show you how to schedule some posts. I want to cover that. That's powerful once you start getting well, that'll have to do with the Facebook page. Okay, so Facebook page, we're going to go advanced Facebook page. and we're gonna do SEO and conversion rates. And those buy ads are gonna help your conversion rates too. When you start doing buy ads, your conversions will go up to like 5 to 10%. Just because, like how I talk about how I pay 2 cents for a link click and 10 cents for a link click. When you do buy ads, sometimes you can pay $1 for a link click because 1 out of 5 people are going to buy your product on a purchase ad. It's more targeted, and so you get higher conversion rates. But we did do this. I'll probably end up doing another episode on lookalike and custom audiences. Cover some other stuff on that. I think I showed you this on the Business Manager video. But what you want to do is you want to set up you want to set up 2 business managers. Yeah, I'll just cover that in case we didn't go over it. So don't get shut down. And it's actually, so when I made this video, or when I made this course, when I first came up with it, it was much easier to do this. Now it's a little bit harder to back everything up. Facebook's getting smarter. They're under more scrutiny from the government and FCC and the Congress and everything, especially with Russia. What happened with the Russia and election, and so they're under a lot more scrutiny. So they're a lot more careful. Like I even got my ad account temporarily disabled 2 weeks ago for some videos. They did. I went to Disneyland and they wouldn't even let me shoot a live video on my personal profile. I've never seen that before, and I've never seen them. I didn't even launch the ads, and I got my account temporarily disabled. So, and I've never ever seen that or heard of it ever happening. They all it was something new. Like I said, new things happen. So when I was in here, I hadn't even reviewed draft items. I hadn't even launched it. I was literally just making a post right here. I was making 10 videos. I posted a video and then I saved it, exit, saved it, exit, saved it, exit. I hadn't even done anything. I hadn't even launched the ad, and my ad account got temporarily disabled. And I wasn't able to do ads, video ads for any of my clients for like 2 days. And so on that specific ad account, if I really needed to launch some ads, I have ways of doing it on my. That's why I show you how to back it up. But it is more difficult to back stuff up now. I'll show you how to do it, but just so you know, this is gonna take you like 2 months to 3 months, or not 2 months, 2 weeks to 3 weeks to be able to do that. It's not. I used to be able to do it in a day. You can't do it like that anymore. It takes you. You have to. You have to do some sneaky stuff. You have to do some spy work over the course of like 3 days or 3 weeks. So we went over all the data columns. The only ones I didn't go over were like mobile apps and offline events, which I've never used. I don't even know exactly how they work because I've never sold an app on Facebook yet. I'm actually in process. I will be doing that here soon because I have 3 clients with apps that we'll be doing. But I don't do the apps, and I know I don't have any students doing apps right now, so I don't feel like that's something that we needed to cover or go over because no one was really going to get any value out of it. And the offline data, it's kind of irrelevant. So we did do the email list with the lookalike audiences. I want to show you some more ways that we can do that, and then that was Facebook Messenger's microphone. That's the big one. Messenger ads. So Messenger ads, I do need to show you that. Messenger ads. That'll be a full course. That'll probably be one of the later courses because I'm still testing stuff out with that. I use it and it's successful, but I haven't really fully optimized my strategy yet, and I don't want to give you a strategy that that I don't always get success from. So I'm still testing some stuff out with that. It works, and I know I'm close to it, but I don't want to. I want to make sure I learn something. I don't want to the blind leading the blind. So yeah. So and then 4-step ad copy blueprint. Um, I've pretty much given you guys that. I can do a note thing on that. And then the 50 plus pre-made custom images, we have that in our Google Drive. The split testing formula, we're about halfway done with the formula. I need to make an Excel spreadsheet of that for you guys. And then how to build a targeted email list. This is the add to cart. This is what I do with an add to cart conversion. And I'll show you an example of how to do it. But think about it this way. When I do those PPE ads and I get 2 cents per link click, well, let's say 1 out of even 12 give me their email address on an opt-in. That's only 10%, or actually that's 8% opt-in rate. Only 25 cents. And so you build a ClickFunnels with just an email opt-in, and then like something like something like this, and you send people here for 2 cents with the video, and then 1 out of 10 people give you their email address. As long as you know how to retarget or email, if you have a good email campaign set up, you're going to get 12 to 1 or I'm sorry, 48 to 1 ROI on that money. Even if you pay $1 an email, you're still getting 12 to 1 ROI. Because let's say you add 1,000 people, and out of those 1,000 people, you should be making $1,000 off those 1,000 people per month. Whether you email them like an affiliate product on a JVZoo, or you email them more products on your store, like a new product that you added, or you send them like a webinar opt-in or whatever. That's how like people like share email email lists, not like sharing emails, but let's say one of you guys had like a coaching product that you sold, and you have 1,000 people on your email list. Well, you could have me come on your email list, and we could do a webinar together where you email to your email list, hey, I got this guy named Andrew. He does Facebook ads. He's great. I want to show you exactly what he does. Join us for this webinar December 27th at 5 p.m. Then we do the webinar together, kind of like what me and Jim had done. And then you would be like, hey, Andrew, I know you teach me Facebook ads. I wanted to share this with all my clients, all my customers. And then anyone that I sold on your email list, we would split that 50-50, because it's your email list. You paid for that email list. I'm just coming on and selling my product. I'm doing the work, but you did the work already. I'm doing the work now, and then you split it 50-50. That's how a lot of people make a ton of money online, because you partner, and then you make friends. Because like I know people that have 10,000 person email lists, and if you do a webinar together, even if you only sell 10%, you sell 1,000 people a $500 product. That's $500,000 or $50,000 or whatever, and that's how people make a lot of money. And then you split it, and then the person that built that email list, if you have an email list, you could bring somebody on. You could put like an affiliate product on JVZoo. You could go to JVZoo, and I don't want to have to sign up. I don't remember what my stuff is. So you can go on JVZoo, and you can find products on there to sell. Like let's say you're in the health niche and you're selling like fitness products, like a shaker bottle. Well, you can go find some weight loss program for like $50 a month, and you can't sell those things on Facebook. But if you can get somebody's email, you can send them an email. Hey, I got the best weight loss formula thing ever. Check this thing out. You just send them to that person's website and make money. It'd be like if we came up with an email and you sent people to this website. Let's say I gave you an affiliate link and it said John Smith right here. And then anyone that purchases from John Smith's affiliate link of my page gets 50% of all my sales. That's how you do it. And 50% on the $500, that's 250. 50% on 2,000 is $1,000. So that's how you can make a lot of money if you find somebody with a high-end product and you remarket to them. You can do that with literally any niche. There's always some type of training with every niche. Like if you do music products, you can teach people how to play the piano, or whatever it is. So we're gonna stop there for today. Hopefully you guys got a lot. Let me see if there's any questions. Oh wow, okay. So Wall, I don't remember what. I have a couple email lists that I sign up to. I think one of them's called I usually delete them after I read them. Maybe it's Yahoo. So Wall asked, do you have any forums or groups that you subscribe to stay up to date? There's this one, is it oh man, I can't remember what it's called. Inside Social. If you go to Inside Social, it'll kind of give you up-to-date stuff on things that are happening. And that's a great way to keep up to date. And then that's why I wanted to make the Facebook group too. And so if you guys hear of something going on, put it in the Facebook group. Maybe I'll learn. Like I can't pay attention to everything. There's just too much stuff. So maybe you can. That's what I want to build as a community. It's Grant Cardone. He's like a sales trainer. He teaches people like sales training, like Wall asked what was the name I mentioned. Grant, he typically like trains like real estate agents or salesmen or the car sales. That's where I met him. I don't really watch his stuff as much anymore. All right. So other than some funny comments, I am going to end this right here. Hopefully you guys got some value out of today. And I'll put this recording up in the members area in probably like 48 hours or so. Just depends on how fast the internet goes. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great rest of your day.